Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I've been doing a little bit of research into some older newspaper articles regarding some of the Florida mound finds pre like 1900. There's so much great information in here, and sometimes the truth gets covered up, especially by these early researchers and archaeologists and these people that come down from the Smithsonian Institute, and a lot of this stuff gets covered up and shipped out, and then we're left with, trying to pick up the pieces and put the puzzle together. So, reading through some articles today, this is probably the most amazing one that I've ever read, but here we go. I'm going to read it to you. Relics and piles of gold found in a mound in the Florida Everglades. A voyage of discovery in the Everglades results in a big find, home of the ancient mound builders, mummies, gold thrones studded with precious stones. A genuine Hyder-Raggard story of the Cleopatra style is going the rounds of the press. It is about an astounding discovery made by a party of Atlanta gentlemen down in Florida's Everglades, says the St. Augustine News. The sportsmen were Messrs. W. P. Carter, Alfred Nixon, H. B. Wren, and Fred Maxwell. They had been moving through the Everglades for several days when one morning they were surprised to find themselves issue from the tangled jungle and float out on a large, beautiful lake. In the center of this sheet of water was an irregular-shaped island, probably half a mile in length and almost the same in width, standing considerably above the level of the surrounding marshes and comparatively bare vegetation. On this island was a circular mound about 100 feet high, covered with various kinds of trees. The hunters at once landed with the purpose of exploring what they at once surmised to be a relic of the ancient mound builders. They soon discovered that the trees were of a species that they had never seen before, the wood being of a remarkable close fiber and hardness, and when after considerable time and labor, two Negroes succeeded in felling one of the smallest, the ring showed it to be almost 2,000 years old. So they cut down one of the smallest trees on top of this mound, and it showed them that it was almost 2,000 years old, which to me is just crazy. But very similar to other articles that I've read where there's giant ancient trees that are growing on top of these mounds, which shows that these mounds are more than a couple of thousand years old, in my opinion. Mr. Carter, the first to arrive at the summit of the eminence, discovered a shaft sunk into the bowels of the mound. No rope being obtainable, a grapevine was substituted, and Mr. Carter began his descent into the darkness of the opening. After having been lowered a short distance, feeling at the same in the sides with the stick, he perceived a sudden widening of the shaft, and striking a match, found a corridor extending on both sides as far as he could see by the feeble light. Telling his friends of his find, he daringly entered the gallery, where he was quickly joined by Mr. Maxwell, and the two started out to explore the mysteries of the mound. They had proceeded but a few yards when the gallery suddenly enlarged and disclosed to them a chamber about 15 feet high and 20 feet square. This is also another measurement that I find in some of these articles. The rooms that are dug down inside the mounds are about 15 by 20. Here a strange sight met their eyes. In rows around the room were queerly shaped coffins made of the wood of the trees which grew on the mound and covered with unintelligible characters. That's pretty cool. Grouped around each coffin were gold pots and utensils of great value, also inscribed with hieroglyphics. So this sounds a lot like Egypt. In the middle of the room was a miniature mound, and in this were found pots, images, and various bric-a-brac. Searching further, they found several similar chambers, some empty, and some filled with all manner of strange and curious articles. Returning to the shaft and descending, another corridor was found connecting with more rooms than the first one, but on reaching the bottom, the explorers discovered a third gallery leading into a chamber, the splendor and magnificence of which fairly took away the breath. While the walls of the rooms on the other levels were of earth, the walls of this were of beaten silver, the ceiling of a kind of unknown blue metal, thickly strewn with diamonds to represent stars, and the floor was of brass. On one side of this room were 13 gold thrones, exquisitely carved, on which sat as many mummies, these, no doubt, being the deceased kings of the people. Opposite each throne was a marble statue, probably representing the king it faced. In the center of the chamber was a mound similar to those in the other rooms, in which were found coronets, scepters, and other insignia of royalty. Securing as many trophies as they could take care of, the party set out on their return to civilization. Mr. Carter said the relics will be placed in the Smithsonian Institute and that he will soon lead a party of scientists to the island with a view to making further explorations. So there you have it, an amazing Egyptian type place found in the Everglades on a giant mound, a half a mile wide, a half a mile long, with underground chambers, with, kings and scepters and tools and silver and gold and hieroglyphics, and just that one room that they describe sounds incredible. They probably used lapis lazuli for the blue stones. And I don't know, it's incredible to me. It's absolutely incredible. So I just wanted to share that with you, our ancient past in the Everglades of Florida from 1889. Have an awesome day, everybody.